If Xianxia had not met this Uncle Shi, he would have thought that the one outside was the heinous Tao creation evil ancestor. But even so, the sects from 7 mountains inside did not give him a good impression. When he came to the former Tao creation mountain, he first met the disciples of the Wood Mountain sect, and that time gave him a very bad impression. Furthermore, there was a conflict between them, and when he came to the Tao creation Fire Mountain later on, the people of the Wood Mountain sect still came to look for trouble with him, and in order to obtain the large number of pill formulas that Hua Liqing possessed, the Tao creation Fire Mountain forced Hua Liqing to stand aside and watch without doing anything. As a result, the Fire Mountain school also left him with a bad impression. When he met Yanzhou before and knew how dangerous the sects from 7 mountains was, he felt extremely disgusted with the sects from 7 mountains. Now, he finally knew the truth. The first Tao creation ancestor behind the sects from 7 mountains had actually devoured a large amount of evil ancestor power, and they could be considered half an evil ancestor. Uncle Shi, now that Tao creation divine lord is outside, he definitely wants to come in. How can I help him enter? Xianxia said. There is a way, but it is extremely troublesome. If you do not have any other important matters, you can try. The Uncle Shi thought for a moment and said, Actually, there is a mysterious path in this Tao creation ancient place. This was left behind by the Tao creation divine lord all those years ago. Do the 7 ancestors know? Xianxia's eyes lit up. This island was actually connected to the mysterious pathway outside. And this island was sealed up. It would be easy to enter if he went out. But if he could come and go, it would be very good. He could go out to find Long Shui and the rest. They don't know, but they suspect that, because only that place did not have 8 ancestor contract maps installed, and only had a barrier set up by the Tao creation divine lord. Uncle Shi said, if they were to break that barrier, then there is no other way. Where is it? I'll go take a look. Xianxia said. Okay. However, you must be careful. That spirit formation is not something to be trifled with. The Uncle Shi said, although I have a powerful force here, I cannot leave this stone array. I am also powerless. Uncle Shi, why can't you leave? You should be very strong to actually be willing to stand guard here for so many years. Xianxia found this hard to understand. You don't understand. To me, the Tao creation divine lord is equivalent to a father, and only he has me. Although my cultivation is strong, he is my father after all, and I am only doing what I should be doing. Uncle Shi sighed. It's just that I never thought that so many things would happen that caused Tao creation divine lord to fall to this state. Uncle Shi, my junior sister is a paternoster beast. She seems to be restricted by some kind of power and can't leave this place. Do you have any ideas? Xianxia asked. I have no way, but Tao creation divine lord should have a way. Previously, the 8th patriarch of the Tao creation left a large amount of supreme mantra here. After absorbing all kinds of energy, these supreme mantra turned into a spirit body and evolved into a beast. The 8th patriarch of the Tao creation even predicted that this kind of thing would happen. Because there is the power of the Tao creation evil ancestor between heaven and earth, it is possible that the paternoster beast would turn into evil beasts. In order to prevent these powerful beasts from escaping, there is a restriction. The majority of the paternoster beast in the Tao creation ancient place were very savage. If not for the fact that the 8 ancestors of the Tao creation had foresight, these paternoster beasts would have already ran out to wreak havoc everywhere. It seems like I can only think of a way to find Tao creation divine lord. Xianxia felt that this matter shouldn't be too big of a problem. And Gutong were currently together with the Tao creation divine lord, so the latter would definitely be severely injured and would need help. Okay, I will tell you the passage the Tao creation divine lord left behind right now. When you get there, be careful. Then, he used his energy to condense a very detailed map in the air. There were many red areas on the map. Uncle Shi pointed at the red areas and said, these places all have 8 ancestor contract map. You have to avoid them. Xianxia remembered it, nodded his head, and asked, that golden light spot, is it where the passage is? Yes, it's a little far from here. The Uncle Shi said, be careful on the road. Generally speaking, as long as you avoid the red areas, it will be safer. It might be that the paternoster beast will be a threat to you. Got it, I'll be careful. Xianxia said. Little brother, then goodbye. I hope that we will have the chance to see you again in the future and have a drink together. Uncle Shi laughed. Farewell, Uncle Shi. We will definitely meet again. Xianxia recalled the illusion and then told the girl inside the Yuyao mountain villa what he and the Uncle Shi had talked about. Xianxia, Little White Fox, and the others could hear it from the time array. Junior sister, when the time comes, I might have to leave for a while, and you can't follow me for now. Xianxia said with a voice full of unwillingness and worry. Little White Fox giggled and said in a tender voice, Senior brother, right now I am stronger than you. Furthermore, after I learned the doppelganger mantra that Master taught me, I will have 2 clones. At that time, I will be even stronger, so you don't have to worry about me at all. Xianxia also thought about this matter. After she had learned the doppelganger mantra, she would indeed be very strong, and with 3 little white foxes releasing her powerful and mysterious pressure mantra at the same time, she would feel fear just thinking about it. Then I'm relieved. Xianxia laughed as he flew up into the sky. Following the safety route on the map, he headed towards the mysterious passage. Seeing how concerned Xianxia was for her, Little White Fox felt a warm feeling in her heart. She wasn't afraid of anything. She was just not willing to part with her senior brother and master, and at the same time, was a little worried that she wouldn't see master and senior brother again. Master, is junior sister's supreme mantra suitable for alchemy? Xianxia asked. Of course it's suitable if I can turn it into a world-defying Dan grain. It would be very beneficial for you to refine pills. Her pressure mantra can allow you to quickly complete the process of condensing the core. You should know that if there was a very strong pressure quickly pressing on the pill, it would emit an even stronger energy and the quality would be even better. Then it was Little White Fox's chi gathering incantation to gather the legendary gas that was even more powerful. Your pills can gather a large amount of legendary gas. What kind of effect can it have? At this time, Xianxia was also secretly excited. He could only wait for Xianxia's good news, and Xianxia also said that he wanted to merge with the Flying Dan grain. At that time the Flying Dan grain would also change beyond recognition. It wouldn't be recognized by the brilliant alchemist. If it was him, he would definitely not be able to get rid of the unique world-defying Dan grain, and if he wanted to, there would be no other way. This would greatly restrict his ability to refine pills. Xianxia advanced according to the map in his memory, suddenly realizing that there were a lot of missing mountains. In order for Xianxia to understand the direction, Uncle Shi had drawn a lot of mountains on the map. Xianxia asked Little White Fox. Little White Fox came out from the time array, looked around and said in a low voice, In front of us is a sect. The only one who would use ice would be the Tao Creation Ice Mountain, whose name was Icy Jade Sect. Even if they lost their Tao Creation Ice Mountain, it was to injure the Tao Creation Divine Lord, and at the same time blame it on the Tao Creation Divine Lord, causing many people to hate him. The mountain ahead should have been razed to the ground by them. Xianxia paced back and forth anxiously. That barrier should be inside Icy Jade Sect. It's so troublesome. Previously, Xianxia only planned to stroll around outside of these sects and capture a few people to ask about some things. The main reason was to ask if there was any way to make Little White Fox follow him out of the Tao Creation ancient place. Now, he already knew from Uncle Shi that only Tao Creation Divine Lord knew of the method. He only wanted to quickly enter the barrier, run out and find Tao Creation Divine Lord, and then bring them in. Senior brother, do you want me to bring you in? Little White Fox replied. I've come once. No, I won't go in first. Xianxia said, I want to wait for you to grasp the doppelganger mantra, because after I enter, it is very likely that I will have to leave. When Little White Fox thought about this, she bit her lower lip and nodded. She also couldn't bear to part with Xianxia and Xianxia. It's okay. I'll definitely come back. As soon as I come back, I'll come find you. Xianxia caressed her hair and let her enter the time array, seizing the opportunity to learn doppelganger mantra. His illusions could be discovered by the Uncle Shi, mainly because the Uncle Shi was very strong. In the Icy Jade sect, only the ancestor had this kind of strength, and this ancestor was definitely in closed-door cultivation, making it difficult for others to discover him. The illusion released by Xianxia slowly floated towards the barrier, and after a careful inspection, he became more at ease, because there were not many people around the barrier, but they were all surrounded by a tall wall, and inside the barrier was a forest. Xianxia did not have the confidence to break it. He felt that this barrier had always been like this, something that Icy Jade Sect's first Tao Creation ancestor knew about, but had not been broken. Tao Creation Divine Lord's barrier is really strong, Xianxia guessed in his heart. If it was any other ancestor joining hands, they might be able to break it apart, but the Icy Jade Sect's ancestor was worried that there would be something good, and so he did not tell the other first Tao Creation ancestor. Xianxia had already found the location of the barrier. Now the problem was how he could enter. He could only quietly go there and let Xianxia and Feng Kur see. Several days had passed and Little White Fox had finally succeeded in grasping the doppelganger mantra. She had used almost 2,000 years of time, while Xianxia had not even been 100 years of time. But Xianxia still admired Little White Fox. This kind of speed was already very fast, at least he couldn't do it. Right now, he didn't have any plans to learn legendary mantra. Xianxia planned to wait until Xianxia mastered the other two legendary mantras. If one of the two legendary mantras was very suitable for him, he could just learn that, because after learning one, it would be even harder to learn the second one. Xianxia had spent thousands of years inside the time array but still had not mastered the other one. Senior brother, you have to be careful by yourself. Little White Fox was very worried. She had planned for her two clones to follow Xianxia. She knew that none of the women in the Yu Yao mountain villa had one. However, Xianxia did not want her to be his clone. He was very confident in his concealment, and felt that he would not be discovered. Junior sister, stay away from here. This is for you. Xianxia gave her a small piece of the red fire dragon's dragon scale. At that time, he only needed to pass through the red fire dragon and he would be able to sense where Little White Fox was. Are you sure you don't need my protection? Little White Fox said in a low voice. I, your senior brother, am amazing. Xianxia pinched her charming and naive face. Then senior brother must come find me. I'll wait for you. Little White Fox looked at Xianxia with his watery eyes. Well, get out of here. There are so many powerful fellows here. It would not be good if they could find out with just a few methods. Xianxia urged. Little White Fox walked a few steps, looked back at him, bit her lips, and then quickly left. Master, if your two clones were destroyed, would that have any effect on your body? Xianxia asked. It will affect me a little. I'm not sure about the details, because I haven't tried it yet. In short, my original body won't die, Xianxia said. She was very curious about this question and she had only hypothesized it herself. When we ask the Tao Creation Divine Lord later, he will definitely know. Xianxia laughed. He had already activated counter power, and was heading towards the forest surrounded by walls. Many of Icy Jade Sect's buildings were constructed from white ice. When one got closer, they could see many different types of buildings that were white and boundless. These buildings were all made from the condensed and powerful energy of ice that had been released by humans. Xianxia passed through a large area of ice buildings and finally arrived outside the high wall. This high wall was actually constructed from Tao Creation Holy Stone. This high wall itself is a barrier. Before, when Xianxia used his illusion body, he only looked from afar and did not approach. But now, he finally found out that the high wall outside the forest was also a part of the barrier. There was no one else here. Xianxia quietly let Xianxia and Feng Kur come out, and it would take them some time to investigate the situation of the barrier thoroughly. Xianxia also used his spirit body to fly around to let the wind out. If anyone approached, he would immediately send Feng Kur and Xianxia inside the Yu Yao mountain villa. Fortunately, this was a forbidden area of the Icy Jade Sect, so disciples of the Icy Jade Sect rarely came near this area. After a day had passed, Xianxia and Feng Kur entered the Yu Yao mountain villa. Is this barrier easy to break? Xianxia asked. This is bad, Xianxia said in a serious tone. I still haven't thought of a way. There must be a formation master in the Icy Jade Sect. They need all these years to not be able to open it, which proves just how powerful this barrier is. Then what should we do? Xiang panicked. I do have a way, but I don't know if it'll work. Feng Kuo said, Big Sister Xiang Luan and I have already discussed this. We only need to create a pinhole the size of a small hole, and then use the transformation technique to turn ourselves into smoke and pass through it. Is this hole easy to make? Xiang asked. Of course not. The way I thought of is to use Shao Kuo's golden needles, and then he would pour in a large amount of time and space power s. Xiao Xianglin said, It would be best if you let your red fire dragon come out, and then use the red fire dragon to condense a time and space power, and pour it into the golden needle. After that, you will penetrate the barrier, and the moment a small hole appears, you will turn into smoke and pass through it. Xiang felt that the process would not be difficult, but doing so would cause a huge commotion. Once the red fire dragon erupted with its power, it would not be able to hide its qi. It's true that it will expose your red fire dragon. This is also the only way. If he could get little white fox to come, that would be fine too, but whether or not he should call her over. Xiao Xianglin said, There's no need for that. Although it's only for clones, I don't know how much damage the clones will do to her body. If it doesn't affect her body well, it'll be very dangerous for her after being hunted down. Xiang said, If there was no first Tao creation ancestor here, Xiang would definitely let little white fox come here. It was just that the first Tao creation ancestor was too terrifying. Who knows how strong they were. Alright, I can only use the red fire dragon. So what if it's revealed? As long as I can see the Tao creation divine lord, my future days will be a lot better. Xiang decided that if he could really make little white fox leave the Tao creation ancient place, he did not think much of it. Furthermore, at that time, Tao creation divine lord would also be able to enter, and the 7 half-evil first Tao creation ancestor would be taken care of by Tao creation divine lord. There's no time to lose. Let's start now. Xiao Xianglin said. Xiang held the golden needle. Until now, he and Xiao Xianglin still had not figured out what exactly this mysterious golden needle was. However, Xiao Xianglin had tried using the golden needles, and it was very easy to penetrate the myriad Tao divine soils crystals. It was just like piercing tofu. That was why Feng Kuo and Xiao Xianglin had such confidence in this golden needle. Xiang released the red fire dragon and let out a stuffy snort, then controlled the red fire dragon to condense time and space power. Right now he had mastered all the time incantations and space mantra, so he did not need to pass the 6 realms mirrors. The red fire dragon's energy immediately exploded out, condensing into 9 time incantations and 9 space mantra. After being overlapped with the fusion spell by Xiang and added with the increase spell, the energy became extremely terrifying, causing the entire icy jade sect to tremble and many ice house to crack. Someone's coming. Xiang's illusion sensed that several auras of the world-defying stage legendary rank were rapidly approaching. Other than them, there was also an extremely terrifying aura that caused him to feel suffocated and incomparably nervous. Open! All of the red fire dragon's energy exploded, and through all sorts of incantations it turned into time and space power. It poured into the golden needles and penetrated through the wall. Xiang used his fastest speed to turn into smoke and drill into the small hole. Just at that moment, when he had transformed into smoke and entered the hole, more than 10 elders suddenly appeared and released a terrifying brilliance at the same time. Xiang had already penetrated through the wall, but he heard the sound of explosions from the other side of the wall. The high wall was also trembling frantically, but it did not have any cracks. It was extremely sturdy. It scared me to death. Xiang looked at Divine Sense Sea World's exhausted little dragon and let out a long sigh. One of the first Tao creation ancestors should be coming. Xiang recalled the moment when he almost died, and he felt a lingering fear. If he had been even a little slower, he might have been smashed into smithereens. With the huge commotion just now, more than half of the buildings in Icy Jade Sect had collapsed. The ground around Icy Jade Sect had cracked and many of the tall and big stone mountains in the distance had cracked and shattered. What happened just now? Someone came here and went in? An old man with a grim expression exuded an evil aura. It should be. That seems to be the aura of a powerful beast. When an old man felt the evil qi, his eyes flashed with a trace of fear. This beast is in a reverse stage of life. It had been a long time since such a situation had occurred. God Ice Ancestor, why did such a thing enter this mysterious barrier? Should we inform the other sects of this matter and have them come over to destroy it together? No need. This must be kept a secret. Even if an elder made a mistake while cultivating, it was only to cause such a commotion. The divine Ice Ancestor waved his hand and said, "The person who goes in will definitely come out again. This is the place that person secretly left behind. There must be something hidden inside." The other 10 or so old men nodded. They were all from world-defying stage legendary rank, but they were all afraid of the divine Ice Ancestral founder. Little White Fox was still far from the Icy Jade sect, and sensing the fluctuation just now, she was very worried. Right now, she could only clench her teeth and keep her distance from here. After Xianxia passed through the high wall, he felt a lot more at ease. He released his illusion body and then split up to search the forest, very quickly finding a huge boulder in the middle of the forest. The entire forest was filled with trees, and only the giant rock in the middle of the forest could be seen. Where is the passage to leave this place? Is it in this stone? Xianxia pushed forcefully, but was unable to move the rock. When Xiao Xianglin came out of the Yu Yao mountain villa, she looked around and shouted in shock, "This is a piece of Tao Creation's sacred crystal. Holy crystal of the Tao Creation?" Xianxia was startled. He retreated a few steps and looked at the gigantic boulder, the size of a small hill. This was actually the Tao Creation holy crystal. He had never seen anything this big before. Moreover, it's a special piece of Tao Creation divine crystal. It has been refined using a clever technique. Xiao Xianglin pressed his hand on the stone, sensing the inside, his face full of surprise. Could this be a transmission array? Xianxia exclaimed. It's very possible. There are many incantations similar to the time curse and the space mantra, but they are much more complicated than the two incantations and should have been evolved from the two incantations. If my guess is not wrong, the supreme mantra must have undergone some special modifications or evolved from them, and based on the evolution of the 9 types of ordinary Tao Creation incantations, they eventually formed into the legendary mantra. Xiao Xianglin looked at the extremely complex and different types of incantations, feeling deep understanding of them. Xianxia could only listen patiently by the side. If Xiao Xianglin wanted to discover the secret of this gigantic Tao Creation holy crystal, he would definitely need some time. Wait a minute, I will record all of the incantations. I feel that I can use this as a reference in the future and create an extremely strong spacetime transmission array. Perhaps it can be used to transfer the divine dragon lake that you are talking about. Xiao Xianglin said, which also made Xianxia excited. Xianxia did not know what method Xiao Xianglin used. It only took 3 days to remember it all. Although she did not grasp the various incantations, but it was recorded in her mind. The main reason was that the Tao Creation incantation was evolved from the normal Tao Creation incantation, so she could quickly brand it in her mind. It was the incantation Heaven Master's inherent skill. I'm going to open it now. Xiao Xianglin said. Activating it is very simple. As long as you trigger an incantation inside, you can absorb the energy of this huge Tao Creation holy crystal. Xianxia hurriedly nodded. Hurry up and open it. The rock trembled and then suddenly turned white. Covered in white light, Xiao Xianglin's hand also sunk into the rock. Then she pulled Xianxia and entered the rock. After entering, they found themselves in a different place. It was a cave, and there was an identical stone here as well. In front of the stone, there was even a man. Big brother. The man was Song Long Profound. He looked at Xianxia as if he had seen a ghost. His eyes widened and shouted, Long Xian, why are you here? What kind of place is this? Xianxia also had a look like he had seen a ghost, and shouted loudly. Xianxia had met Song Long Profound before, in the city outside of Tao Creation Ancient Place. They had chatted for a while, and at that time Song Long Profound had been acting mysterious. He had not expected that they would meet here. I wanted to ask you, did you come out of this stone? I have to find Master. Song Long Profound shouted. Master told me to guard this stone. He said that if anyone comes out, I have to tell him immediately. Big brother, wait here for a while. Who exactly is your master? Xianxia wanted to grab Song Long Profound and ask for the details, but Song Long Profound ran very fast and disappeared without a trace. Xianxia looked at Xiao Xianglin and said, "Could it be that this guy's master is Tao Creation Divine Lord?" Xiao Xianglin shook his head. "It shouldn't be. It doesn't look like it no matter how we look at it. We'll find out after we wait here for a while." Not long after, Song Long Profound walked in with an old man. Seeing the old man, Chun Xiang and Xiao Xianglin were both stunned. "Senior Luo," Chun Xiang shouted in shock. Song Long Profound's master was actually Luo Zhiyang. This was beyond Chun Xiang's expectations. Xiao Xianglin, on the other hand, didn't think much of it. He was a very fanatical person of the Tao Creation's incantations, so it was normal for him to take a fancy to Song Long Profound's inherent skill. Luo Zhiyang was definitely with the Tao Creation Divine Lord now. When he was outside of the Tao Creation Ancient Place earlier, he had obviously been ordered to do something. "Chun Xiang Luan, you came out of this rock?" Luo Zhiyang was also very surprised. When Song Long Profound saw that he had a good relationship with his master, he felt that it was strange. Previously, he had always kept his identity a secret from Chun Xiang. "Yes, we were in Tao Creation Ancient Place before," Chun Xiang said. "That's a long story." "Oh yeah, Senior, have you seen Sister Qin Shuang yet?" "I saw it. After these few girls found me, they were arranged by me to be in a safe place." Luo Zhiyang said, "You must have heard about the things outside while you were in Seven Mountains Divine Island, right? Especially some Tao Creation evil ancestors." "I heard about the Tao Creation evil ancestor a long time ago." Chun Xiang nodded. "Brother, actually, that is not Tao Creation evil ancestor," Song Long Profound immediately said. "I know. That's the Tao Creation Divine Lord, right?" Chun Xiang laughed. "I just found out. That sex from Seven Mountains' first Tao Creation ancestor is the real bad guy." "How do you know that?" Luo Zhiyang looked at Song Long Profound and immediately shook his head, indicating that he did not say anything. He also felt that it was strange. Chun Xiang did not know about this before he entered the Tao Creation Ancient Place. Xiao Xianglin observed the stone behind him. It was the stone that they had come out of before. "Senior Luo, have you guys not passed through the stone and entered the Tao Creation Ancient Place?" Xiao Xianglin frowned and asked, "Could it be that this stone can only be left from the inside and can't be entered from here?" "No, you can go back and forth. It's just that Tao Creation Divine Lord had an accident while refining it and needed to activate the incantation from the other block. Since you guys came here, you have already activated all kinds of incantations, so now we can enter the Seven Mountains Divine Island." Speaking of this matter, Luo Zhiyang was more joyous. "If you hadn't come, we don't know when we would have been able to enter the Seven Mountains Divine Island. So that's how it is. Xiao Xianglin had a great harvest from the holy crystal stone over there and was able to learn a variety of incantations." Suddenly, someone walked into the cave. It was a young man. "Senior Gu," Chun Xiang immediately shouted. "Greetings, Senior Gu." Xiao Xianglin laughed. "It's you two youngsters." Once Gu Tong came here, he could already guess what was going on. He smiled. "I really didn't expect that you all had actually helped us enormously. Is Tao Creation Divine Lord busy right now? I want to ask him something." Chun Xiang said, "Is it convenient?" "Of course it's convenient. Big bro, you helped him so much, so he will definitely be very grateful to you." Song Long Profound laughed. "Come, let's go see Tao Creation Divine Lord." Chun Xiang and Xiao Xianglin followed them out of the cave, into a forest, and arrived at a small wooden hut. Inside the small hut, there was a white-haired old man dressed in a black robe who was reading a book seriously. He looked to be a very benevolent old man, and his entire body emitted a sense of righteousness. "Big brother." After Luo Zhiyang entered, he shouted lightly, "This little brother here is Chan Xiang. I mentioned this to you before. Do you remember? When Tao Creation Divine Lord was reading, he did not seem to know anything about what was happening outside. Therefore, when Song Long Profound came here to call Luo Zhiyang a moment ago, he did not know either." Hearing Luo Zhiyang's words, he then turned to look at Chan Xiang. Tao Creation Divine Lord had a faint smile on his face. His eyes were filled with gentleness but also incomparable profoundness. Xianxia felt that he must have been seen through by Tao Creation Divine Lord. The smile on Tao Creation Divine Lord's face grew wider, especially after seeing Xianxia. Xianxia also did not expect that Luo Zhiyang and Gu Tong would actually greet Tao Creation Divine Lord. Xianxia and Xianxia bowed towards the Tao Creation Divine Lord. How did you know about that mysterious passage? Not many people know about this. Tao Creation Divine Lord stood up and walked in front of Xianxia and the others, and asked with a smile. Uncle Shi told me. Xianxia said, Do you know him? So it's Uncle Shi. You see him, and there's nothing wrong with him, and it seems very extraordinary. Tao Creation Divine Lord was surprised. He knew very well where his Uncle Shi was. It was extremely dangerous. No matter who it was, without the blood of the 8th Patriarch, his Uncle Shi would respect the 8 Ancestor contract map and kill them. Even if one of the 8 Patriarchs were to go over, they would still be attacked. I used to use this. Xianxia released a transparent illusion. So that's how it is. Tao Creation Divine Lord laughed out loud. No wonder, it's all thanks to you that we have a way to enter the Tao Creation Ancient Place. If not, who knows how long we would have to wait, and when you guys came over, did you encounter any danger? It's very dangerous. Xianxia told Tao Creation Divine Lord about the many powerful warriors surrounding him. After the Tao Creation Divine Lord heard this, his expression became somewhat serious. They actually built a sect outside. Xianxia sent a sound transmission to Xianxia at this time, reminding him that Luo Zhiyang and Gu Tong had already stepped into the world-defying stage legendary rank. Luo Zhiyang and Gu Tong had stepped into the world-defying stage legendary rank S. This clearly had something to do with the Tao Creation Divine Lord. Xianxia, didn't you just say that you have something to ask? Gu Tong said. Right, Senior. How can we leave the Tao Creation Ancient Place? Xianxia asked quickly. I took a Paternoster beast as a disciple. It's Xianxia's junior sister. She's not that kind of ferocious beast. Xianxia asked. Is there any way to let her leave the Tao Creation Ancient Place? After the Tao Creation Divine Lord heard this, he laughed loudly. This is easy. Just give this pill to her to eat. Both Xianxia and Xianxia had not thought that it would be so easy, and were still a little unconvinced. But this was given to them by the Tao Creation Divine Lord, so there shouldn't be any problems. Thank you, Senior. Xianxia was very grateful. This way, Little White Fox could leave the Tao Creation Ancient Place. Zhiyang, Gu Tong, you guys stay here for the time being. I need to go somewhere and find helpers. Otherwise, when we enter the Tao Creation Ancient Place, we won't be able to beat them. Tao Creation Divine Lord said, Right now, we do not need to work hard to enter the 7 Mountains Divine Island. Everyone can rest for the time being. Yes, big brother. Gu Tong replied. Tao Creation Divine Lord looked at the cave in the distance and sighed. Then, he suddenly disappeared, leaving behind a trace of faint time and space aura. I'll take you guys to find Shuang'er and the others, Luo Zhiyang said. Xianxia had originally planned to ask about the doppelganger mantra, but he didn't think that Tao Creation Divine Lord would leave so quickly. When Xianxia saw Qin Shuang, Peng Profoundfei, and the others, Long Shui learned that Xianxia had accepted a 9-tailed fox as his disciple and was really looking forward to see Little White Fox. She felt that she would have another playmate in the future. Qin Shuang and the others entered the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. They wanted to learn the Tao Creation's incantation from Xianxia. Let's go to Tao Creation Ancient Place first. Xianxia said, After passing through that rock, we will be able to reach a forest, and that forest is still very safe. Gu Tong said, Let's go in. Second brother is waiting outside. All right, Luo Zhiyang said. Gu Tong opened the incantation on the huge boulder, walked in with Song Long Profound and Xianxia, and arrived at the Tao Creation Ancient Place. Martial uncle, we can develop here. They won't be able to get in. Song Long Profound said, the energy here was much more than in the previous place. It's not the safest, Xianxia said, because only Icy Jade sect knows of this place. For many years, only Icy Jade sect and the others have tried to break through the barrier themselves. And if the other sects knew as well, it would be hard to say if they attacked this place together. That's right. Icy Jade sect must have thought that there was some kind of treasure inside and he wouldn't tell the other 6 sections. However, Icy Jade sect will definitely not be able to hide from such a huge commotion. Gu Tong said. Big Brother said before. The Tao Creation's 7 sects plotted against each other all day long, guarding against each other. They did not fall out because they were worried that Big Brother would take revenge on them. It's quite easy to get out from inside. Xianxia said. This was what Xianxia had told him. Is that so? You want to go out? Gu Tong asked. Yes. I'm going to give that pill to junior sister. She's still waiting for me outside. Xianxia said. She has been wanting to leave Tao Creation ancient place since a long time ago. I want her to quickly go see what is going on outside. All right, you must be careful. Gu Tong patted Xianxia's shoulder. Xianxia's cultivation level was not as high as his, so he called him senior, but deep down he had a lot of respect for Xianxia. I also want to go with Big Brother. Song Long Profound muttered. There'll be a chance in the future. Learn a few things from Senior Luo. Xianxia laughed. I will definitely learn well. Song Long Profound nodded heavily. Then I'll be taking my leave. After Xianxia bid farewell to Gu Tong and Song Long Profound, he quickly ran towards another high wall. The high wall where he had come in must have been guarded. He would not go there again. After rushing out of the high wall, he was still in Icy Jade sect. When he came out, he could see people walking around everywhere, and there were a lot of people in the peak of world-defying magic realm. All of them were disciples of Icy Jade sect. It was a good thing that there were no world-defying stage legendary rank S. If not, Xianxia's price would be easily discovered. While there were no legends in the vicinity, Xianxia quickly left the Icy Jade sect, and the entire journey was extremely smooth. After leaving the Icy Jade sect, Xianxia used the red fire dragon to sense Little White Fox's location, then quickly flew over on the 6 realms mirrors. The Tao Creation Divine Lord actually refined a pill. It seems very ancient. Xianxia looked at the pellet carefully. There are still world-defying Dan grain inside. Could it be that he refined it before? Xianxia gave the pellet to Xianxia without scrutinizing it. It should be. My guess is that in the future, there will be a few paternoster beasts like Little White Fox that will appear in this group of Tao Creation Ancient Place. He also intends to let these paternoster beasts leave the Tao Creation Ancient Place, or join his faction. Xianxia said. This Tao Creation Divine Lord seems to be very weak. Xianxia said. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to look for helpers and directly called them in. I feel the same way. Xianxia said. Let's go ask Uncle Sure. Little White Fox stayed in the cave inside a big tree, waiting for Xianxia and Xianxia. She hadn't even waited for a few days before Xianxia and Xianxia came to find her. She saw the shining dragon scales of the red fire dragon in her hands and was very excited. Xiang Master! Little White Fox shouted. Little White Fox jumped onto the 6 realms mirrors and threw herself into Xianxia's embrace. She was very worried that Xianxia and Xianxia would not return. Xianxia hugged Little White Fox and laughed. Little White Fox, we can bring you out of Tao Creation Ancient Place soon. We have already found a way. That's great. Little White Fox was very happy. Long Shui also came out from the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. When she saw Little White Fox's 9 beautiful tails, her eyes shone, and she ran over to caress them. Little White Fox also knew about Long Shui's situation, which was what Feng Kuer had told her. Therefore, she did not feel that Long Shui was a stranger to her, and even took off her tail to play with him. Long Shui placed a foxtail on the small of his back and said with a smile, I'm also a little vixen. Xiang slapped her tender fart. This little naughty dragon, as long as you play with her, don't think of getting junior sister to give you her tail. I'm just playing. Long Shui used his tail as a scarf and stuck his tongue out at Xianxia. Little White Fox seemed to like Long Shui's mischievous white dragon a lot, and the two of them started to play around immediately. Xianxia also couldn't do anything to them. Let's go back. I need some time to digest what I've gained here. Xianxia said, now that we have Supreme Mantra, I will take some time to get one for you. Thank you for your hard work, my beautiful master. Xianxia laughed. Be careful on your way back. Remember to find Uncle Shi and tell him about meeting him. Xianxia reminded them before he returned to the Yu Yao mountain villa. Xianxia rode on his 6 realms mirrors and arrived at a safe zone close to the giant stone array. Then, he released his illusion body and went to find Uncle Shi. Uncle Shi, I've seen Tao Creation, Divine Lord. Xianxia said. It's good as long as you see it. I never would have thought that you would be able to enter that tunnel. Your ability is truly amazing. Even I am not certain that you would be able to enter. The Uncle Shi sighed. Thailand's most popular female anchorwoman, new love video exposure down the male host. Xianxia told the Uncle Shi everything that happened. It seems like he is still the same as always. So cautious. As long as he can find help, that's enough. The Uncle Shi sighed. Right now, he couldn't go out and help the Tao Creation Divine Lord. Uncle Shi, Tao Creation Divine Lord seems to be a bit weak. Is he injured? Xianxia asked. Of course not. His strength has always been like this. Truthfully speaking, in a one-on-one fight, even 10 of him won't be my match. Uncle Shi laughed. But his most formidable aspect was the array he had set up for refining pills. This was his most terrifying aspect. It was all thanks to him that I was able to become so strong. Then why isn't he strong? He can eat pills to make himself stronger. Xianxia never thought that the Tao Creation Divine Lord was actually an alchemist master. If not, he would definitely ask for guidance. I also think it's strange. I asked him, but he just smiled and did not answer. If he had had enough strength, he wouldn't have been sealed by the 7 half-evil Tao Creation Divine Lord back then. Uncle Shi did not understand either. Uncle Shi, I'm leaving the Tao Creation ancient place. I don't know when I'll come back again. I really hope to meet you again. Xianxia said. I also wish to meet you. There will definitely be a chance in the future. Be careful on your way. The Uncle Shi laughed. Farewell. Xianxia bid farewell to the Uncle Shi through his illusory body. Xianxia rode on his 6 realms mirrors and quickly flew at a low altitude to return to fighting Glorious City. Little White Fox was very lively in Yu Yao Mountain Villa, mainly because he was playing with her. He split himself into 2 clones, and there were a total of 3 little white foxes. Each of them had 9 tails, which was what Long Shui liked the most. Little White Fox had already learned the doppelganger mantra, so she was going to study the world-defying Dan Grain with Xianxia, because she had 2 clones that could do even more things. Fighting Glorious City had already become a legend here, and Yang Genming's becoming famous fighting team was also a very famous team. With Yang Genming's help, Hua Liqing opened a very large shop. She had a lot of pill formulas, had the Tao Creation's divine crystals, and was even someone close to Xianxia. Hua Liqing was just like how she was in the separating Fire Dan Pavilion. As long as the alchemist swears on her blood oath did not leak the pill formulas that she provided, she would help them refine it. In a short period of time, Hua Liqing's shop was filled with sound and color, and she was not worried about people causing trouble because there was not only the world-defying stage legendary rank, an expert, but also a violent saber-fighting god. Violent saber-fighting god had already stepped into world-defying stage legendary rank after eating a large number of emotional heart danes from Xianxia. At the moment, he also owed Xianxia a sum of Tao Creation's holy crystals, so even if he paid it back, he would still follow Xianxia in the future. Xianxia was currently inside the City Lord's mansion, drinking with Yang Genming. Boss Shin, you really make me jealous. You actually have 2 helpers from the world-defying stage legendary rank by your side. Yang Genming's face was filled with envy as he laughed. Alchemist is indeed powerful. Alright, Boss Shin, you seem to have a divine pill that can allow people to enter world-defying stage legendary rank, so when will you be able to break through? Whether or not I can break through depends on the person. I'm not suited for that kind of pill myself. Xianxia sighed. Feng Lanyi and Lai Dao both use fire, and you also use fire. Both have a common characteristic. Yang Genming frowned. Why can't you? Although my fire is very strong, it's not the power of my major. I also cultivate other powers on the road. Xianxia had cultivated for a certain amount of time and spatial energy, moreover it had been for many years. So that's how it is. Yang Zhenming sighed. Don't worry. If I were to make that pill, I will definitely let City Lord have a taste of it. Xianxiang laughed. I knew Boss Shin would take care of me. Yang Zhenming laughed loudly and poured some wine for Xianxiang. Oh right. City Lord. Has there been any activity from the 7 sects during this period? Xianxiang asked. He already knew that the Tao Creation ancient place hid the strongest power of the 7 great sects. No. Yang Zhenming frowned. It's terrifyingly calm. Then is there an old man named Yan Zhou looking for you? He's my friend. I met him and told him to come find you. Xianxiang asked again. Yan Zhou? No. Yang Zhenming shook his head. Xianxiang had told Yan Zhou before to come to the Fighting Glorious City to find Yang Zhenming. But he didn't come. City Lord, you have to be wary of the 7 great sects. Xianxiang said in a serious tone. I know. I've lived for so long, and I can feel that the 7 great sects seem to be planning something. What they've done recently is extremely abnormal, and I've sent people to keep an eye on them. Their activities outside have decreased a lot. Yang Zhenming said. They have suddenly become very low-key. Because of the Tao Creation evil ancestor outside, nobody knows anything about the matters outside during this period. Xianxiang said in a low voice. City Lord, you might not know this, but Tao Creation did not destroy the Tao Creation's ice mountain. Oh? Why is that? If it were not for what Xianxiang said, Yang Zhenming would not have believed it. He knew clearly how many lives would be lost if he were to destroy a Tao Creation mountain, yet Icy Jade Sect did such a thing. There is a barrier inside the Tao Creation's ice mountain, and at that time, the Tao Creation evil ancestor had just reached the Tao Creation's ice mountain. Xianxiang said. After Yang Zhenming heard this, he frowned and said, They want to kill Tao Creation evil ancestor, but it did not succeed. They were willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of killing the Tao Creation evil ancestor. There must be some secret behind it. I only know that Tao Creation evil ancestor was long dead. The one outside was not Tao Creation evil ancestor, and was initially sealed by them for many years, and 7 Mountains Divine Island was also not made from Tao Creation's evil mountain. Xianxiang said. Back then, this matter was said by the 7 great sects themselves, so no one knew about it. Yang Zhenming is such a sly old fox. He understood what was going on immediately. Damn it, the 7 great sects wanted us to make our enemies into the Tao Creation evil ancestor, then make us hate them, mistake them as the Tao Creation evil ancestor, then make us enemies with this strong guy. In the end, we would fight to the death, truly too ruthless. Yang Zhenming believed what Xianxiang said, because he faintly felt that something was wrong. Currently, the 7 Mountains Divine Island was extremely sealed, and people outside could not enter, so they were naturally deceived by the 7 great sects. Boss Shin, how did you know about this? Yang Zhenming asked. Yan Zhou told me. He was originally a disciple of the Fire Mountain School, and when I met him in the Tao Creation ancient place, he was chased by the Fire Mountain School. In the depths of the Tao Creation ancient place lies the true strongest power of the 7 great sects. Xianxiang's words startled Yang Zhenming. Could it be that all 7 first Tao Creation ancestors are inside there? Yang Zhenming's face became gloomy. I had already suspected that the Tao Creation ancient place was the place where the most of the heaven and earth treasures were hidden. Xianxiang and Yang Zhenming had talked about many secrets of the 7 major sects, making Yang Zhenming somewhat prepared for the things that would happen in the future, because no one knew what would happen next. Boss Shin, you actually knew so much when you entered the Tao Creation ancient place. If it wasn't for you, I still don't know what would happen in the future. The 7 Mountains Divine Island would probably be facing a huge battle. Yang Zhenming said. Xianxiang did not tell Yang Zhenming about him meeting the Tao Creation Divine Lord. The 7 Mountains Divine Island was occupied by those half-evil first Tao Creation ancestor. They will definitely think of a way to enslave us soon, so if the Tao Creation Divine Lord appears, it might become a battlefield in the future. Xianxiang said. Yang Zhenming nodded his head. I have to start preparing now. Me too, I need to go back first. I need to hurry up and think of a way to enter the world-defying stage legendary rank. Xianxia's red fire dragon was very strong, but because his cultivation was too weak, he was unable to unleash the power of the red fire dragon. Xianxia left the city lord's mansion and returned to the shop. At the same time, Hua Liqing was calling the customers who came to buy pills, and Xianxia was helping them out as well. This shop was a total of 20 stories tall, and there were many alchemist refining pills on top of the shop, while Xianxia and the others lived in the backyard of the shop. Fierce Blade was mainly responsible for the order of the shop, preventing people from causing trouble. When Xianxia returned, he told him that if anyone messed around in the shop, he would immediately beat that person up and throw that person outside. Hua Liqing was currently the shopkeeper of the shop and an important person in the shop. Feng Lanyi was worried that the people of Wood Mountain sect would harbor hatred in their hearts, so she came over to take revenge on Hua Liqing. Hence, she had to protect Hua Liqing. Xianxia was currently in a secret room in the backyard. After Xiao Xianglin grasped 2 of Little White Fox's supreme mantra S, he began to research and create the world-defying Dan Grain, and this was what Xianxia was looking forward to the most. On the way back from Tao Creation Ancient Place, Xianxia had been studying the world-defying Dan Grain for a few days. During this time, he had been studying the world-defying Dan Grain at the time array. Not long after Xianxia stayed in the secret room, Xiao Xianglin came out from the time array. "I've finally done it. I just wonder how it's going to turn out." I added Little White Fox's pressure mantra and Qi gathering incantation, these 2 supreme mantra. Of course, the rebirth and derivation Tao creation incantations are inside, so it's quite complicated. Xiao Xianglin handed over a huge crystal to Xianxia, inside which was the world-defying Dan Grain she had just made. "You have mastered all of the Tao creation's incantations, so learning it shouldn't be too difficult. The only ones that should be bothering you should be those supreme mantra," Xiao Xianglin said. "I'll try," Xianxia said. "Master, this kind of world-defying Dan Grain must have a name, right?" Xiao Xianglin pondered for a moment and said, "Let's call it Huajing Dan Grain S. I feel that the effect is definitely better than that of the Flying Dan Grain, and that the worst-case scenario would be the same as that of the Flying Dan Grain. At least when you sell it, you don't need to worry about the Fire Mountain School causing any trouble, because this is your unique world-defying Dan Grain." Xianxia had many world-defying God-becoming Dan-S with Flying Dan Grain carved on them, but these pills could not be sold. The main reason was because there were Flying Dan Grain inside, so he could only secretly sell them to Yang Zhenming. "I wonder if the elixirs will be able to evolve by then." Xianxia looked at the extremely complex Huajing Dan Grain. He didn't know if it could still be as fast as when he was learning Flying Dan Grain. "I don't know. I've already added rebirth spell. If you can't, then you can only work hard to refine it." Xiao Xianglin said, "I still haven't figured out the secrets to the pill spirit." Pill spirit was the highest quality form of the pill, and it was produced after a series of steps. The process was rather complicated and difficult. "Then I'll go try out the Huajing Dan Grain first." Xianxia entered the secret room and began refining. The 6 realms mirrors S were all given to Su Meiyao and the others to use. They were going to cultivate now and step into the peak of world-defying magic realm. In the secret room, Xianxia took out Tianchuang Furnace S, placed them inside the ingredients needed to refine world-defying God-becoming Dan, and then began to refine them as usual. After he finished using the derivation method and was about to condense the pill, he started to inscribe the Huajing Dan Grain. If it was the past, he would definitely have first condensed the Huajing Dan Grain in the air before starting to refine pills. But now, he was concocting pills mainly for the sake of being able to enter the Huajing Dan Grain during the time when he was more familiar with concocting pills. Because he was not familiar with this kind of Huajing Dan Grain, Xianxia failed when he first started carving the Huajing Dan Grain. Failure was failure, but he could accumulate valuable experience from failure. "Looks like I don't have a good grasp of the best timing between condensing a medicinal pill and inscribing a Huajing Dan Grain." Xianxia had failed the moment he started carving the Huajing Dan Grain, and this was mainly because there were some problems with the medicine crystal. The medicine crystal was still too big and loose, and had to consume a large amount of energy to create the Huajing Dan Grain. The second time, Xianxia started to inscribe the Huajing Dan grain when it was more sturdy. I don't know if this Huajing Dan grain will be like the flying Dan grain before, consuming a large amount of my life force and blood. When Xianxia was inscribing flying Dan grain, it was already extremely dangerous. If it wasn't for him having a lot of helpers in the Yuyao mountain villa, he would have met with trouble while inscribing flying Dan grain. This time, the process of refining the Huajing Dan grain was extremely smooth. However, I have become familiar with the flying Dan grain. When I was inscribing this Huajing Dan grain, I became very familiar with it, and Master still retained a certain amount of the charm of the flying Dan grain, allowing me to inscribe it even faster. Xiao Xianglin did indeed have this thought, but she didn't think that Xianxia would learn the Huajing Dan grain so quickly. It could be said that the first time Xianxia had encountered a Huajing Dan grain could be said to be an easy task, without any obstructions, and was as smooth as if he was inscribing a flying Dan grain. He could also tell that the Huajing Dan grain had changed a lot when compared to the flying Dan grain, but he did not feel it was difficult. Using world-defying Dan grain to refine pills was one of the hardest things to create. Yan Zhou had studied flying Dan grain for a long time and still did not make any progress. Xianxia was easily able to get past this stage. His talent in controlling world-defying Dan grain was much faster than Xiao Xianglin's skill in learning incantations. And the most difficult stage that would happen next would be a huge challenge to Xianxia. Xianxia would have to let the Huajing Dan grain awaken and let the energy within the Huajing Dan grain erupt forth in order to give the divine pellet a strong effect. The process of awakening the pill mark was long and difficult. Fiction. Update quick reads. When Xianxia reached this stage, he released the second stage of time formation so that he wouldn't be in closed-door training for too long, because there might be something happening outside, so he couldn't practice alchemy for too long. I have the red fire dragon this time, so I shouldn't be in such a sorry state. Xianxia thought, the first time he let the flying Dan grain awaken, it was already extremely dangerous, and he had lost half his life. It's time to infuse life energy. Xianxia had condensed 9 incantations for regeneration above his own divine sense C, which could allow the seawater in his divine sense C to quickly regenerate. The seawater meant that he had a lot of power. If he consumed it too quickly, he would be able to quickly replenish it through the incantation. Through an array refined by Xiao Xianglin, after Xianxia infused his proud power into it, he would be able to condense a large amount of life force, and then infuse it into the Huajing Dan grain. The large amount of life force that he released was smoothly channeled into the Huajing Dan grain, but after a few hours, he felt that something was amiss. The rate at which life force is being absorbed is getting faster and faster. Xianxia suddenly felt that the Huajing Dan grain was a bottomless pit, crazily devouring the energy of life. This is bad. What was going on? This Huajing Dan grain is too dishonest. Xianxia could feel the blood qi in his body draining away. He had not started to bleed, nor did he have such a thought. However, the Huajing Dan grain could devour the blood and qi of his body directly through the Tianquang furnace. Junior sister, come out and help me, Xianxia anxiously shouted, letting little white fox exit the Yuyao mountain villa. At the same time, he had the Meijing sisters channel the life force of all the flowers, grass, and trees in the Yuyao mountain villa into his body. After little white fox came out, the skin on his body started to wither and wrinkle. Panicking at once, he immediately split into 2 clones, and then pressed his hands on Xianxia's back. The 3 little white foxes fed the power of regeneration into Xianxia's body, allowing the fresh blood in his body to quickly regenerate. If not, Xianxia would become dried up like a human being. Junior sister, it's all thanks to you. Xianxia could feel his body recovering, and heaved a sigh of relief. Little White Fox was from the world-defying stage legendary rank, and with the help of the 3 clones, he was able to release the power of rebirth using the 9 rebirth incantation. Senior brother, your pill refining is really dangerous. Little White Fox was also scared to the point that his face had turned white. This was because Xianxia was like a lamp that had run out of oil. His body was filled with an aura of death. I also did not expect it to be like this. I can only say that the Huajing Dan grain master created was too powerful. I was able to encounter it. This kind of Huajing Dan grain would definitely allow the divine pellet to have a strong effect. Xianxia was ecstatic. Little White Fox didn't have much understanding of divine pellets before, and she had only occasionally heard of it from the disciples of the 7 great sects in Tao Creation Ancient Place. Ever since she had taken the divine pellet from the Tao Creation Divine Lord, she knew how powerful the divine pellet was. "Junior sister, are you bored?" Xianxia asked because Little White Fox had already been by her side for several hours. Of course not. How could it be boring to be together with Senior Apprentice Brother's master? Her 3 clones were delivering a large amount of power of regeneration to Xianxia at all times. Not only did the Huajing Dan grain absorb the life energy, it also absorbed a large amount of Xianxia's blood aura. The speed of absorption was tens of times faster than that of the flying Dan grain. "Senior brother, if you refine this pill, what effect will there be after taking it?" Little White Fox asked. "I don't know for now, but it's of great use." Xianxia felt that it would be better than the world-defying God-becoming Dan-S that were refined using flying Dan grain-S. It should not be of much use to world-defying stage legendary rank, but it will be beneficial to the people from the world-defying stage divine rank. Xianxia felt that when he ate a few of these pills, he would be able to directly step into the peak of world-defying magic realm. Outside Xianxia's shop, many people were gathered around the big doors. City Lord Yang Zhenming was also there, while Hua Liqing stood at the entrance. "Wood Mountain Sect, don't be so shameless. Explain to me clearly, what pill formulas does our store have to steal from you?" Hua Li was extremely angry. Wood Mountain Sect had indeed come to cause trouble. Xianxia was worried too, because Mu Yijing, the owner of the Greenwood fighting team, was an important figure in the Wood Mountain Sect. He might even be someone who knew about the secret sects in the Tao Creation Ancient Place. Mu Yijing had lost such a good helper from Azure Dragon fighting God, and now that Dao had stepped into world-defying stage legendary rank, he was extremely angry, so he came. "It's the world-defying God-becoming Dan." Xianxia had stayed in the mountain of Wood Mountain in the Tao Creation before, and had even created many major events. At that time, he participated in a competition organized outside of Wood Mountain Sect, and used the world-defying God-becoming Dan to get number 1, and obtained a time array and a Tao Creation Holy Crystal as a reward. And according to the rules outside our Wood Mountain Sect, if the person obtaining victory in the competition wants to receive the prize, the divine pill formula for winning the competition will belong to our Wood Mountain Sect. Mu Yijing replied as he sneered, "Back then, because the outer sect elders taboo Xianxia's strength, so there was nothing they could do about it. They could only give the rewards to Xianxia. Now that the inner sect of Wood Mountain Sect knows about this, they have a reason to seek an explanation." Nonsense. Hua Liqing obviously knew how Xianxia won against the time array. It was true that this was the case, but there was no pill formula to return to Wood Mountain Sect. "Our request is also simple. It is that we are not allowed to sell any more world-defying God-becoming Dan in your shop. Xianxia is so strong, it's not good for us to ask him for the pill formulas." Mu Yijing said, "World-defying God-becoming Dan-S could not be refined, and their effects were extremely strong. To be able to make a person at the peak of Aoshi Holy Stage transform into a god, 10 of them were the easiest to sell in the shop, and the most expensive. If the store was not allowed to sell, then the income would definitely be reduced by a lot. Firstly, your Wood Mountain Sect must produce proof that your Wood Mountain Sect's competition has such rules." Yang Zhenming said, "It's actually very easy to prove that. Let the person in charge of the competition, or the outer sect leader of the Wood Mountain Sect come out and swear a blood oath to prove that the rule you spoke of just now is not fake." Mu Yijing sneered. "How could I so easily swear a blood oath? Furthermore, because of the exchange with the Tao Creation evil ancestor, the outer sect leader S of the Wood Mountain Sect were already severely injured, and the casualties among the elders were even more severe. The Wood Mountain Sect's outer sect leader was definitely not heavily injured. Even though Yang Zhenming could not leave the place, he knew that Mu Yijing was lying and was only looking for an excuse to come here and play around. All right, we can make Boss Shin swear a blood oath. When he participated in that competition, he did not violate the rules of the competition." Yang Zhenming continued, I believe that Boss Shin will definitely be willing to clarify himself. Making such a blood oath is also very easy. The surrounding people nodded immediately. If Xianxia was willing to swear a blood oath, then Mu Yijing would be in trouble and would be punished. Mu Yijing said fearlessly, sighing helplessly. Based on what I know, back then Xianxia did not know of this rule, so swearing blood oaths on it was useless. Someone from the crowd shouted. Then you said that the elders of the Wood Mountain sect were worried about Xianxia's strength, so they had no choice but to let Xianxia leave. But Xianxia's attitude is unyielding, so the only thing you can do is to let him go. And now you say that Xianxia doesn't know this rule? That's right. If you don't explain the rules to them, then let them participate in the competition in confusion. Then, after the competition, you can explain the rules. Aren't you trying to trick them? There is a problem with your competition. It can't be counted. Everyone shouted out loudly. The crowd was not stupid, and all of a sudden, they were filled with holes. Everyone. This person is the boss behind Greenwood fighting team. No one knew who was shouting from the crowd. Everyone was shocked because the bosses of the large battle squads were usually very mysterious, yet now they were capable of such people. After finding out that he was the owner of the Greenwood fighting team, everyone suddenly realized. They were all angry and shouted for Yang Zhenming to deal with this trouble. Mu Yijing, if you still refuse to scram, don't blame me for being impolite. Lai Dao said coldly. Lai Dao had stayed in the Greenwood fighting team before, so it was unexpected for him to say such words. Everyone guessed that he might have already stepped into the world-defying stage legendary rank. If your Wood Mountain sect wishes to prohibit our shop from selling world-defying God-becoming Dan, then you can take out evidence that is strong enough to prove that the world-defying God-becoming Dan's pill formulas belong to your Wood Mountain sect. Without any evidence, just by saying randomly, who would believe you? Huali Qing said angrily. You are obviously causing trouble. Mu Yijing clenched his teeth as he glared at Yang Zhenming and Huali. He indeed did not have any evidence. He was already angered to the extreme, and he did not hope to succeed to cause such a ruckus. Why isn't your store's Boss Shin coming out yet? Is he afraid? Mu Yijing laughed sarcastically. Since it's like this here, he still hasn't come out. There is something in his heart. I can't give him the proof, but what about him? Why don't you dare to come out and confront me face to face? Mu Yijing, what kind of competition were you talking about just now? This itself is full of holes. Feng Lanyi said coldly. Our boss is in closed-door cultivation to refine pellets. It is normal for him to not come out now. Mu Yijing laughed out loud. This is all your fault. Xianxia doesn't dare come out, just feeling guilty. He felt that his strength was not bad, being at the middle stage of world-defying stage legendary rank. He was stronger than Feng Lanyi and Lai Dao, who had just entered the world-defying stage legendary rank. Even if it was Yang Zhenming, he would only be sharing the glory, and if they were to fight here, the entire city would definitely be destroyed. He was certain that Yang Zhenming would not make his move, otherwise, he would have already made his move. You are just making a ruckus without any reason. Scram and scram. Huali Qing clenched her jade teeth. She had a serious expression on her face and her fists were clenched tightly. It was obvious that she was doing her best to restrain herself. Huali Qing glanced at Yang Zhenming, then sent a sound transmission to him, telling him not to act yet, and to wait for Xianxia to come out first. Haha. Xianxia doesn't dare to come out, right? Mu Yijing laughed and ridiculed. Who said I don't dare to come out? Xianxia's voice transmitted over, causing his laughter to immediately stop. Boss Mu, am I just killing your Azure Dragon fighting god and Bloody Costume fighting god to win over 1,000 of your Tao Creation's holy crystals? Is there a need to be so hostile towards me? Xianxia smiled. Azure Dragon fighting god and Bloody Costume fighting god were both prepared to step into the world-defying stage legendary rank, and could be said to be incomparably precious. 1,000 or so Tao Creation holy crystals was no big deal, as 2 world-defying stage legendary rank S were equivalent to taking 2 of Mu Yijing's arms. Mu Yijing brought up the matter with a mischievous smile on his face. He was extremely pleased with himself, and was so angry that his muscles were twitching. You? No more world-defying God-becoming Dan are allowed to be sold. Mu Yijing grinded his teeth in anger and spat out these words. I have a rough understanding of the situation. You're obviously causing trouble. Xianxia sighed. Boss Mu, please go back. I just finished refining pills and am a bit tired, so I won't bother with you. Humph, so what if I am here to cause trouble? What can you do to me? I am a core elder of the Wood Mountain sect. You may not know how powerful my Wood Mountain sect is, but I'll tell you. When Mu Yijing said that, he sensed that something was amiss, because beside him, there were 3 females wearing white dresses with half a veil covering their faces. These 3 women were really Little White Fox and her clone. She had already hidden her tail. She had been in the Creation ancient place for so long, and she was also chased and killed by the people of the Wood Mountain sect. Chun Xiang did not want her to be recognized just yet. Although Little White Fox and her clone had half a veil over their faces, they were still able to recognize that they looked similar. Their eyes, eyebrows, foreheads and faces were all the same, like that of triplets. He already admitted that he was here to cause trouble, so there's no other way. Do it, Chun Xiang said. Little White Fox was only at the peak of the early stage of world-defying stage legendary rank, but she had 3 of them and could even use Supreme Mantra S. Mu Yijing immediately felt that these 3 identical white-clothed women were very strong. When he wanted to resist, he discovered that there was pressure coming from all directions, pressuring him to the point of him floating in the air. Mu Yijing was pressured by the 3 Little White Foxes and was even lifted up into the air, causing him to be terrified in his heart. Because under the pressure, no matter how much power he released, he was unable to break through the pressure released by Little White Fox. When Little White Fox was using the pressure mantra, he had fused with the increase spell, so the pressure was even stronger and more terrifying. Lan Yi, just release your strongest phoenix flames and attack Mu Yijing, Chun Xiang whispered to Feng Lanyi. Feng Lanyi also didn't know when Chun Xiang had found 3 more powerful girls, and they were much stronger than her and Lai Dao. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to subdue Mu Yijing in such a short period of time. Yang Zhenming was stunned. After making a trip to the Creation ancient place, he actually found 3 beautiful and powerful women. Feng Lanyi pointed her palms at the hovering Mu Yijing and tenderly shouted as small blue phoenixes emerged from her palms one after another and flew towards Mu Yijing. Little White Fox was secretly shocked when he felt the kind of beast-type flame that Feng Lanyi possessed. After all, it was a phoenix and one of the kings of beasts. The blue-colored flame was merged into the pressure by Little White Fox using his fusion spell. And then, this extremely pure blue phoenix fire was forced towards Mu Yijing from all directions under the extreme pressure. Ah! Mu Yijing screamed continuously. The burning flames had drilled into his body and caused his entire body to burn in pain. This is what happens when you cause trouble in my shop. After Chun Xiang shouted, only a blue light flashed, and Mu Yijing instantly exploded, because Little White Fox had released a pressure from all over the place. This power did not leak out at all, causing people to be amazed. Mu Yijing died, and the most shocking thing was Yang Zhenming because he had a thorough understanding of Mu Yijing and knew of his strength. Yet, Mu Yijing was killed by someone like that, so he did not have any power to resist. Little White Fox also quickly retreated into the shop. At the same time, she also experienced the power that the body-splitting technique brought her. Mu Yijing was part of the world-defying stage legendary rank and also the boss of a team. He was an important figure in the Wood Mountain sect himself, but now, he had been killed off. Everyone felt it was unbelievable because in their eyes, the world-defying stage legendary rank was very strong. However, after being attacked by 3 people at the same time, they didn't even have time to resist and turned into ashes. At most, they would only be able to escape with serious injuries. However, they did not have that thought anymore and did not know what power the 3 Little White Foxes used to actually have such power. Little White Fox looked naive and charming, but she had been in the Creation ancient place for so many years and had been through so many battles. She herself would often participate in battles. Her own strength was not weak, and she had Supreme Mantra S. Even Chun Xiang did not expect her to be able to kill Mu Yijing in an instant. The store is still open for business. Please come in. We promise that we won't let this happen again, Chun Xiang said with a smile. then also went to the backyard. Feng Lanyi followed behind Xianxia. She wanted to see who this new companion was. Lan Yi, this is my junior sister, Little White Fox, Xianxia said with a smile, and then he introduced Feng Lanyi to him as well. She is Feng Lanyi, a blue fire phoenix. It really is a phoenix. No wonder. Little White Fox smiled slightly and greeted Feng Lanyi. Junior sister? Feng Lanyi did not expect Xianxia to suddenly have a new junior sister, whose power was even more terrifying. Yes, Xianxia laughed. You must be very powerful. Feng Lanyi nodded her head. Little White Fox was indeed very strong. She had only come to the backyard and knew that it was not a triplet but a person. She saw that the other two were clones just now. She felt that it was inconceivable that her clone could still be that strong. She did not know about the doppelganger mantra. Junior sister, if there's nothing else, stay in the shop. I'll arrange for Lan Yi to take you out for a walk. Xianxia said. The reason Little White Fox came out of Tao Creation Ancient Place was to see the outside world. Now that she had come out, Xianxia had not brought her out to play yet. Yes, Little White Fox nodded with a smile. She also really wanted to look around. Hua Liqing was still busy outside. Xianxia would introduce Little White Fox to her and Lai Dao later on. Then he would enter the secret room. He had already successfully carved the Huajing Dan grain on top of a world-defying God-becoming Dan. He did not know what the quality of this world-defying God-becoming Dan was right now, because he did not eat it. Instead, he gave the pellet to Zhang Lizi, who was still staring at it. This kind of pill was extremely difficult to concoct, so Zhang Lizi was reluctant to eat it. Thus, he could only take the pill and feel its power to see if he could make her evolve. Zhang Lizi quickly came to a conclusion. No way, Zhang Lizi said as she returned the pill to Xianxia. Elder brother Shen, I don't know the reason either. In short, we can't consume this pill to evolve. He couldn't do it before, but after he added the regeneration incantation to the world-defying God-becoming Dan, he succeeded. Is it the same as the world-defying God-becoming Dan that was refined using flying Dan grain? Xianxia asked. No, I don't know why, but I can feel that once I consume this pill, I cannot evolve, because there is a power contained within that pill that I cannot condense using my current cultivation. Zhang Lizi shook his head. All right, I'll have to refine it myself. The only thing Xianxia was sure of was that the effects of the pill in his hand would be very good. As for how good it was, he still had to taste it first before he would know. Xianxia looked at the golden pill in his hand. Those pill patterns were extremely beautiful, and he was somewhat unwilling to eat it. Just when he was about to put it in his mouth part-time, he suddenly thought of something. This pill should not be suitable for me to consume, Xianxia said. Then, he took a look at the women in the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. They had actually all stepped into the peak of world-defying magic realm. Go find Xianxia. Xianxia immediately ran out of the secret room and brought Xianxia inside. Although she knew that Xianxia was a rascal, deep down in her heart, she was still looking forward to it. Her master, Xiao Xianglin, did not seem to object, as Xiao Xianglin had previously said that he would give this pair of maids and sisters to Xianxia. Xianxia, eat this pill. Xianxia passed the world-defying God-becoming Dan that was refined using Huajing Dan grain S to Xianxia. Just as Xianxia was thinking about this, he received the pill from Xianxia. After eating it, I might be able to let you step into the peak of world-defying magic realm. Xianxia chuckled, and then pinched Xianxia's beautiful and rosy cheeks. Really? Xianxia was from the late period of world-defying magic realm, and she had also eaten Xianxia's medicinal pellet, all the way until her breakthrough. However, she knew that if she wanted to enter the peak of world-defying magic realm, she would need to eat even more high-ranked world-defying God-becoming Dan. So she did not dare believe it. Let's try it out. I'm not sure either. If it doesn't work, it will at least help you improve greatly, Xianxia said. Xianxia nodded, then ate the pill. Xianxia used a triple time field on her and waited for her outside. The triple time field could make the time difference between the inside of the domain and outside even larger. Xianxia waited outside for a while before Xianxia shouted from inside the time domain, Boss Shun, I've succeeded. I've broken through. Chun Xiang immediately withdrew his time domain. How long have you been refining it? Chun Xiang asked. Around 20 days. Xiang'er was very happy. She did not expect herself to reach the peak of the world-defying stage divine rank so quickly. If not for Chun Xiang's pill, she would still be at the early or middle stages of the world-defying stage divine rank. Hee. This is all thanks to your big sister. Her world-defying Dan Grain is very powerful. Chun Xiang laughed. Big sister is indeed powerful, but Boss Shin is also very powerful. Otherwise he would not have been able to concoct such a pill. Xiang'er smiled sweetly. My mouth is so sweet. I really want to kiss it. Chun Xiang laughed sinisterly. Then kiss it. Xiang'er blushed and said softly. Chun Xiang laughed sinisterly. Just as he thought about it, he suddenly thought of Xiao Xianglin. Although Xiao Xianglin previously said that he would give his servant girl to him, he did not know if it was a joke. So he dispelled the thought and only kissed Xiang'er's beautiful face. Tell Luer that when I refine one pill, she will eat it. At that time, she will have the same breakthrough as you. Chun Xiang said. Boss, you're so nice. Xiang'er smiled sweetly and walked out of Chun Xiang's secret room. Chun Xiang was now certain of the effects of the pill. It allowed a person to progress from late period of world-defying magic realm to the peak, and he named it the Peak Dan. I can finally sell the divine pill tattoo pills. Chun Xiang did not know how much he could sell it for, but he had to first give Yang Zhenming some, and at the same time let him suggest the selling price.